Yeah. All right, so we've got some goals for everyone. This is the district goals, as well as our goals for ourselves. First, every club put a goal into Rotary Club Central. It's really important so that we know if you don't have a goal, if you don't put a goal out there, you're never going to reach it. So we really want you to put a goal in there, and then so that you can go after it and attain it. 20% DDF to polio. Pretty much simple. And I will say last year, every district in zone 33 reached the 20% DDF goal. So that is fantastic. And hopefully we're going to have this happen again this year. Next goal, every club gets $1,500 to Polio Plus. We want to increase the number of Polio Plus Society members. We want polio to be represented at district events. Identify a major donor for Polio Plus. And this could be somebody that's already a major donor, but someone to make that $10,000 donation to Polio Plus. And you already have some that are doing that. So that's going to, you will reach that goal. And then, of course, World Polio Day, October 24th. We're looking for every district and club to participate in one fashion or another.
So now you've gotten an overview of the goals, and now we're going to go step by step. Some people have trouble logging into Rotary Club Central, especially your clubs that you're making sure that they have a goal set in Rotary Club Central. This QR code takes you directly to a video, not the Rotary Club Central, but to a video that shows you exactly how to upload goals and put goals into the Rotary Club Central. And it's just a matter of logging in and making sure that everybody has a Rotary.org login and password. You have to have that. Select Rotary Club Central under online tools, then view the club goals at the bottom, and then just follow the session that shows you exactly what you're supposed to do. Click the goal, and we want to make sure that you go to the foundation. They do have membership, engagement, Rotary Foundation, giving, service, young leaders, and public image. So make sure that you click on Rotary Foundation, put a goal for Rotary Foundation, but also a goal for Polio Plus. Make sure they do that too.
Okay. And most importantly, click save to save
your work. Save your work, because it will disappear.
Okay. So 20% DDF to Polio Plus. So we've said that last year, every district in zone 33 reached its goal. But we have another goal is to submit your DDF before August 15th. And then if you do that, there'll be a special honor, which we're going to talk later in the presentation. And to make it easy, if you don't have the DDF transfer form, we have the form in the foundation Dropbox and also in resources. So we're going to make it very easy if you need it. If you can't find it in the Dropbox or resources, just let Nancy or I or your Polio Plus chair know, and we will make sure that you have it.
That's right. We're going to tell you more about the Dropbox near the end. That's one of the resources, and there's a lot of good information and a lot of good links in that Dropbox for all clubs, all district governors, for Polio Plus chairs, everyone. Every club give a minimum of $1,500. You heard me say minimum. You can certainly do more than that, and some clubs do more than $1,500. But especially for the smaller clubs, it's kind of hard to do that. But make sure that you have at least $1,500. Now, how to set a goal in the Rotary Club Central? The math is easy. If you've got 20 club members, you multiply that by $50, that we're going to have a minimum of $50. Now look, like I said, it's a minimum. As you know, the Polio Plus Society asks for $100 or more. So you don't have to stick with the 50, but that just gives you a place to start. That makes $1,000, and then the club gives $500 more to make $1,500. Why don't you hold a fundraiser just for Polio Plus, just for polio? You know, there's a lot of people in your communities that have no idea about polio, that don't even realize that it's still alive and well in the world, or don't know the role that Rotary plays in eradication. This is your opportunity to do that. You can have more than one. You can have several fundraisers, especially closer that we come to World Polio Day.
I-
There'll be a lot of ideas listed in the resources as well.
Sorry, Nancy. I do see, John, you've got your hand up, but we're going to get through these slides and then we're going to take all the questions if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Put it in your chat. Please put your questions in the chat.
All right, increase Polio Plus Society members by 5%. Now, one thing we're lucky with too is every district in Zone 33 does have a Polio Plus Society. So, but some districts have different rules on how to become a Polio Plus Society member. Each district can make their own rules on this. This is not a Rotary driven project, but we're in, at some point we do expect to see that become a Rotary project. So it is suggested, this is what most of the districts do, is $100 per member per year until Rotary is eradicated. And what can you do? Lead by example. If you are not a Polio Plus Society member, become one. Very simple to do. We have certificate templates and pins available. And if you want, there's a kennel club. You can have your fur baby become a Polio Plus Society member in honor of them. And I know Nancy's baby kitty is a member, as well as my two dogs. And I know several other people on here have their pets as members of the kennel club. And with that, they get a nice little bandana that says End Polio Now. So it's a great way, it's a fun way to become a Polio Plus Society member.
And a note on that, Colleen, go back just a minute. A note on that. There's a lady in California. They have that's where it originated. This kennel club. There's a lady in our zone up in West Virginia that she's a vendor, and she can send out those scarves for us instead of having to get one from all the way from California. So that's another way that you can make sure that you start a kennel club, and it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Identify a major donor, and like Colleen said earlier, there are probably in your district people that are already doing that. Make sure that they're recognized, and if you don't have one in your district, take a look at your Polio Plus Society members and see how often they give. They may be close to a major donor, and they may decide to go ahead and become a major donor and give a major gift, which is $10,000. They may say, oh, well, let me just go ahead and do this. There's a lot of people in our districts that are doing that already, and it really does make a big difference when we talk about the match for Bill and Melinda Gates and also the World Fund. And then you want to recognize them at a district event, at a club event, make sure that they get recognition if they want it. Some people do not want that recognition, but make sure that they get it if they're so inclined to have that.
And if they don't want the recognition publicly, make sure that we are sending them a thank you note, a note of appreciation to them privately.
Exactly.
All right. World Polio Day. That's coming up October 24th. I think most people know about that. But it's not just about fundraising. It's about education and advocacy. We're hoping that every district will do a district-wide event for Polio Day. Encourage clubs to hold an event or a fundraiser by bringing awareness to your community. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. One great thing to do, and I know some of the districts have done this, is to have the state, get your governor, or even your city, get the mayor to declare it, Nancy, what's the term I'm looking for, but to World Polio Day in your state or in your community. Let them make
proclamation.
Thank you, Sheila. Yes, and 610 has done that in the past, so that's how we know Sheila's got that. Welcome, I'm glad to see you here. Another thing, get your Rotaract and Interact clubs involved, and if you have an Early Act club, we have a lot of great little tools that you can use specifically for the younger set.
Yeah, all of us really need to be educated because there's a lot of Rotarians too, and Rotaractors, and Interactors, and Early Act that are not aware of polio. And It's been eradicated here a long time ago, so they're not, they're not used to that. So make sure there's education. We talk about it all the time. Educate, educate, educate. I'm hoping that every district, and I think so far every that I've seen, and it's not been confirmed, but that every district has a polio plus or district polio chair. If you have a new one that came in that we're not aware of, let Colleen know or myself know or Bernie know, Bernie Rydell, who's the RFC that's on this call, let us know so that we can update and make sure that we have the correct person to be in touch with. We also would like to talk to them, and we'll be having some calls directly with the polio chairs to find out how you communicate with your clubs. Is it via email? Is it via calls? Is it via Zooms? Is it in person? Do you meet with them in person? Do you go to their club and talk about it? And I hope some of you do that a lot, really, to go out to the clubs and really meet them face to face and talk to the club, maybe give a presentation of some sort about polio and why it's important to continue to make contributions. We also want to know, in some districts, we do know that there are Polio Plus Society people that are on the subcommittee that deal with just the Polio Plus Society. And you know that your district must keep up with the number of people in the Polio Plus Society, who they are. Rotary International and Rotary Foundation does not do that at present. So it's up to the district to do that. Keep that record and make sure that it'll really help you to make sure that you double check on who's at Polio Plus Society this year. Do they want to continue that? Do they want to give more? So it's really helpful to you too and to us. And then do you have a person that just organizes special district events? People have mentioned baseball games already. Is there one person in your district or several people in the district that organize events, whether it's a bike ride or a run or a walk? If there's that person, ask them to come to these calls with us, because we'll be doing these calls occasionally throughout the year and throughout the month to make sure that all the things are updated and that you have the latest and the greatest information.
Awards and recognition. There's several awards that are available from Rotary International. There's an international and a regional polio service award, which most people are not even aware of that this is out there. For the Rotarians who are going above and beyond when it comes with polio, the forms are available online through RI. So go on, look to see what the recommendations are, what you have to do. And if you have someone that you want to recognize in your district, by all means, fill out the form. Clubs that are giving $1,500 plus, there's certificates available for those clubs. And then a new one, 100% Polio Plus Society clubs. And I know we have one in District 7610. The Manassas Club is a 100% Polio Plus Society. So that means every member in that club is a Polio Plus Society.
I got a second one today.
Oh, second club, all right.
Leesburg.
Leesburg, so that's fantastic, both in District 7610. Sheila, you are knocking it out of the park.
We have one in 7690 as well.
Fantastic. So we would like to get all of the information, those clubs, so that we can recognize them. So definitely make sure that we put that down in the chat. Also, individuals who have given more than $1,000, and this is cumulative, it doesn't have to be all at once, but those individuals, we want to make sure to recognize those individuals. And we do have a different pin that's also available for those individuals, a Polio Plus Society pin that has I'm going to call it a diamond chip in it. That's also available. So make sure that we recognize and give the awards to those individuals and clubs because we want to recognize them and say thank you.
This was a big one, about reports. I sent out earlier, and Bernie suggested this actually. Chuck Davidson, who was the InPolio Now coordinator, and Rocky Jacobs used to send out a report monthly on the DDF that had been already given, because like I said, our goal is at least 20% DDF. Then also the cash plus the DDF contributions, then the cash contributions, and then the per capita. So that report will be coming out every month too. This one, the next one may be a little late because we're still waiting for the books to close out. But then after that, near the end of the month, I'll make sure that those reports go out so you can sort of see where you are in the zone, who's ahead of you. A little healthy competition never hurt anybody. So, and it's a lot of fun to look at too. And we'll make sure that the top 5 at least will be recognized. But everybody needs to be recognized because you don't know how much we do appreciate this. Then, of course, the 20% DDF report, that's the one she's talking about. If you need, and you need to look at your monthly contribution report too in your for your district just to see who's given to polio. That's a good way that you can tell who's given to polio, how much they've given. It doesn't tell a lot about it, but it'll give you an idea of which clubs or which people in those clubs have given something to.
It lets them know where they are in relationship to the goal that they set, how much more they need to do. And sometimes need a little reminder to say, hey, you're so close. Come on, just give that extra little bit and make sure we hit our goals.
That's right.
If they exceed them, make sure we thank them very much. Resources. We've got a ton of resources. First off, we've got Nancy and myself as the End Polio Now coordinators. And then, the people who are on the street, the district polio chairs. Can't say enough about our district polio chairs, the work that they're doing with the individual clubs. So thank you, thank you. But make sure you've got district polio chairs. If you need a presentation, you need some information, they're your go-to people. They'll have that information. Zone 33 has a Dropbox just for foundation. And what's in there? Forms, all sorts of forms, how-to instructions. If you need information on how do you get to Rotary Club Central, it's there. If you need a DDF form, it's there. World Polio Day ideas. There's a whole section on resources just for End Polio Now. And then in addition to that, World Polio Day ideas. So I'll tell you what, the people at RI, and we also have Kim Walden, who is an End Polio Now coordinator for Zone 34, but also works with Polio Plus Society. She has done a phenomenal job putting together all these different resource tools for Polio Plus Society and for End Polio Now. And they're available at your disposal, very easy to get to. And then we have National Immunization Day Experience, which will be coming up in February, and that's led by Nancy Barbie. It's an amazing trip to go on. I know we've got some people on the call that are interested. We have people who have gone on these trips with Nancy. I've gone with Nancy 14 times, so it's obviously a very fun trip.
Well, yeah, it is, and the information will be coming out soon. I'm still trying to rearrange the schedule and find out where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing. So that information will be coming out soon. Colleen is very modest. She's my right-hand man on these trips, so don't let her fool you. She goes all the time, every time, and so I don't know what I'd do without her. So an easy way for you to get to the Dropbox. The little website is a little hard to remember. Sometimes I can't remember, but if you click on this drop, you will go directly to the Dropbox, and in the Dropbox you'll see all kinds of forms and all kinds of folders. Ours are Polio Plus and Polio. There's polio information and there's Polio Plus, and we'll get Bernie manages that for us and has been for a number of years. So we'll get him to keep adding things. This presentation will also go in the Dropbox, and anything that we do, anything that you need from us, let us know and we'll put them in the Dropbox. Send it to you privately too, and send it to everybody, but then send it again to the Dropbox so that you can see everything there. And if you can't find something, there again, you just have to let us know.
Put it there, we'll add it.
Okay, this is the big thing. Colleen mentioned earlier about the August 15th deadline in Pittsburgh at Zone 33-34 Summit. If those of you that are going, and those of you who plan to be there, district governors, listen to this. DRFCs, listen to this. Polio chairs, listen to this. We will be in Pittsburgh on World Polio Day, October the 24th. We're going to have an In Polio Now torch that is commonly called the flame, and you see it right on that screen, and you see it on Colleen and my background. We call that the flame. That flame was taken around the world by a lady named Suzanne Ray, that is also a polio survivor from Australia. She took that around and to raise funds with her world's greatest meal. The flame has been revived. Bob Hagan from Zone 34, past In Polio Now coordinator, has that flame, and he's letting us borrow it to be at the summit in Pittsburgh. But we talked about it, and I said, why just there? Why just look at it? Let's use it. Let's use it as an incentive. So every district, governors listen, DRSCs listen, every district that will go ahead and make their 20% or more DDF contribution by August the 15th will have the honor of having this torch in their district to walk the last mile. Of course, that's symbolically walking the last mile, but they'll take that torch and pass it to the next district that has also made that challenge. So make sure that you get that 20% in, because we want every district in Zone 33 to do it again, 20%, and we know that they will do it in 24 as well. Also, if you're at the summit, you're going to see the world's largest polio memorabilia display. Colleen Bonadonna has over 700, you heard me right, 700 items that has to do with the history of polio. It is amazing. It'll take you 2 or 3 hours to go in there and look at everything. But anyway, please come to the summit if you are planning to come. Make sure that you see that memorabilia and make sure you get that 20% in, folks.
Now, also with the walk, the flame will start out in Miami and then work its way. And each district that it's in, we're going to do a video clip. And then once we're in Pittsburgh, the video clips will be put together and it'll be shown there. Obviously, the island districts in Zone 34, we're going to start the flame in Miami. So those districts will carry the flame the last part of the walk over the bridge in Pittsburgh, and then hand that over to well, Stephanie Erfchick is going to be there. So she's going to be Jern, Mike McGovern. So we're very excited. We'll have Patrick Eakes there for our director.
And Peter Salk, you know who he is, Jonas Salk's son. How about that?
So it's going to be an exciting, and there are so many things that they have planned. It is going to be an exciting event. If you have not signed up for the summit, definitely sign up for the summit, because it is going to be something.
Absolutely, and this will be a great public image. You're looking for things to do in your districts for World Polio Day. This will be a great public image event and a start of the World Polio Day events in your districts. This is the beginning, so then you continue it and do other things, and every club can do their own thing or take part in this big. Can you imagine your whole district walking the last mile? I can see it now. What a public event image this can be. Oh man.
This is going to be a huge public event.
I'm psyched.
Do it. All right, so now this is the time that we get to open it up to questions and answers. And I think the first one, what we'll do is go to John Nanny. So people can unmute themselves. John? Is John still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I actually had my hand up by accident, but I want to thank you for this incredible information. One question I do have is, how do you, I've never been to the summit. I know they've had it a number of times. Is it an invite only summit, or how does one get the information of how to do that?
This summit is mostly for incoming governors and for past governors.
Okay.
There are emerging leaders that districts send for that particular event. That's a good question, John. They are looking at polio pioneers that got the vaccine right at the beginning to be there. So that's a good question. I will ask that to the committee about polio survivors coming. So I'll
Well,
ask the question.
Well, there certainly is a polio pioneer in this meeting here, in Jeff Kaup, who has been a district polio plus chair since 1985 from the beginning.
All
And
right.
he's raised a lot of money for polio plus by every club in his district doing a world's greatest meal for World Polio Day, and they're averaging over $30,000 just on that day. He is a pioneer.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm going to ask Bernie. Bernie, will you look in the chat to see questions that were in the chat or any comments that are in the chat? Let's look at those.
All right, and then we also have David Rosenthal and then Tom Smith.
Okay.
Thanks, Colleen and Nancy. This was very informative. Nancy, one of the things that you mentioned several times is tracking the folks for Polio Plus Society. But those of us that are district chairs don't have access to that information by individual.
No, none of us do really. So it's you can check the the district MCR and see who's given to polio, and then you just have to track them down. I'm not. Does anybody got an idea of how you're tracking those in your own districts? Because it doesn't.
Yes,
Sheila does. Sheila, how are you tracking those?
yeah. I built a committee in the district committee folder, you know, in the DAC-DB. And as we get new applications, they go in there, and I'm also working with DAC-DB to use one of our separate data fields in DAC-DB to designate, so the individuals have it in their records too.
Okay. Maybe that'll help, David. We'll have
Yeah,
to.
I didn't follow that at all, but thanks.
Okay, we'll get back. We'll get back with you and see what we can come up with. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay,
Saturday, Sheila, you and I will get that written down and we'll put that into the foundation Dropbox.
absolutely.
Tom's next.
Nancy, can you email out the person, the vendor who has the bandanas? That's been my one
I can.
stumbling block.
I can. Her name is Tina Cunningham, and she is from, but I'll send out the information to everybody. She's in West Virginia, and she has her own business, and she's just recently become a Rotary International vendor. So she's official. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Any idea how much they cost roughly?
I think she said $8, $8 to $10, depending on the size. And I don't know how the districts, I think the districts buy that, and then whoever becomes in the kennel club, they get one, their animal gets one, but it has to be at least $100. You might want to charge $110 for the cost of depending on how much budget you have, if you have a budget.
Yeah, we don't have any budget per se, but we can figure that out.
Yeah.
Right, Kevin? Anyway, that was my one question, because my thought was basically to, besides keeping a list of them, was to make a kennel club Facebook page.
That's great.
And post and have people send pictures and post them. So a lot of times you get plenty of people want to sponsor a dog or a cat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Tom, this is Kevin. You will have some money for this.
All right, go on, Governor. There you go.
No doubt.
There you go. I knew that governor would come through. I did. I knew it. I see that David Rosenthal gave a idea about Pints for Polio during the year, so they hold several of them. Okay, and I bet that raises a lot of money. And I know Bernie Rydell did a walk or run. I think he ran. I will not be running. I can tell you that right this minute. But I might walk a little bit or something. I don't know. We'll come up with something. We've got some other ideas for fundraisers. Colleen and I do.
Yes. You see here, we got in the chat room that AKS Legacy Society members are also received invitations to the Zone Summit, as well as all PDGs are welcome to the zone. And since we have all the special polio events going on, we'll have to see about if we can make sure to get the polio chairs, because it's an integral part of it. So we'll get more information on that.
Oh, that's good to know, Beth Trotter. Thank you for that.
I can tell you that you can also get the Polio Plus member list from the data center.
at Rotary International, right?
Yes, and I'll have to give you the link for that because I don't have it up tonight, but
So
that's where I get mine every month.
okay, but does it give you just your district or?
I just ask for a specific date based on my district.
Okay. That's good to know. Contact center is
Nancy?
always a good resource.
Nancy, on the Polio Plus Society tracking, there is a report called Contribution Detail for Clubs and
yes.
Districts.
That's
And
right.
it has every transaction that goes to the foundation from the district. Now, only the district governor and the DRFC can get it. Well, I think EPNCs and I can get it, but you got to be very careful because it has a lot of financial information in it for everybody that makes a contribution. But it's a spreadsheet and you can sort it any number of ways. And the polio people that give the polio, you can see them and you can follow up. If they're not a member, you can follow up with them. Contribution detail for clubs and districts, see your DRFC, your DG or Nancy or Colleen, they can get it.
That's right, Bernie. Thank you for that. That's right. Okay, Lori Menzel has Tina Cunningham's Hometown Outfitters. She has her website on the chat. Okay, folks. Any other comments or questions or fundraising ideas?
Before we go to special guest.
Yeah, we're going to go to the special guest right now in a minute.
Hey, Nancy, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
I am still very, very, very interested in getting an iron lung for our district.
Okay, we do have some information on that. You were talking about just for your district conference or something of that nature?
Just for October.
Okay.
If we can get it for, yeah.
I don't know that you can get it for October because there's a couple that have the adult and the baby iron lung.
Yep.
It's going to Pittsburgh in October, and
Aha.
District 7570 will have it. They will house it, so it will be kept in 7570 because that's where the people were from. They're now in a nursing home, so they don't have it anymore.
Got it. Okay.
So, yeah. So anyway, but let me see what I can work out. If you wanted it at the beginning or something, maybe 7570 could get it to Charlotte, or I'm not too sure about that, but I know it's going to be at the summit in Pittsburgh.
Well, I'll tell you what, our foundation event is November the 8th, and even if we could have it for that, that would be wonderful.
Okay, let me see what we can do.
Thank you.
Remind me of that. We'll see what we can do. Okay.
I sure will.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Okay.
Kevin, hate to butt in, but I believe your club a number of years ago had a line on one of them because there was discussion about that probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, that was actually you and I talked about it, and it was in 76-7. It was actually in Cleveland County, but they didn't want to release it, so that was kind of the problem we ran into.
Even for a day or so.
Even for a day, and we were willing to pick up all the costs. I would love to get my hands on one, even if only.
I knew there was one nearby.
Yep. Thank you, Tom.
We'll see what we can do. Special surprise guest that we have on this call today. We have Anna Pinckney from Chicago, and she is a polio survivor. And this is a teaser she's going to give you because you're going to hear a lot more from Anna throughout this year. Anna?
Thank you all. And John Nanny, you know, what you said is true. We don't often get to hear what's going on and how this is all happening. And every time I speak to Rotarians, all I can say is I need to thank you for every minute you have spent and every dime you have raised so that in our lifetime, we will see the end of polio. The thing that is shocking to me is how many post-polio people there are. And we need to remind you that one of the reasons we need eradication is because for most of the people getting polio now, and the children who have gotten it in the last 10 years and 15 years, they're all going to wind up with the late effects of polio. And they are pretty awful. Ask any of us who went through it. And then I found out, because I run a global post-polio syndrome advocacy group, and how we need to approach the medical world, and some doctors who don't believe that there is such a thing as post-polio syndrome. Polios who had an excellent recovery, and there are some of us who did have an excellent recovery, and I had a pretty damn good one. Nobody knew I even had a limp until I walked down the aisle to get married by myself. Those of us who had an excellent recovery have more and worse post-polio syndrome now, 30 to 40, 50 years later. And it was because if polio attacked one nerve, the next door neighbor sent out these little shoots. And that was supposed to help keep the muscles activated and keep it going. And after all these years, those little sprouts are dying off. So the neurons are dying off. And now we are showing all the symptoms that we might have had at the very beginning if we hadn't had a pretty good recovery. And so my goal is always to talk about my origin story, to talk about what post-polio is like, living with that, to thank you all for how hard you work to raise money, and to tell you that we are available to speak to any of your group, to district meetings at any time. John, I don't know how you travel these days, but I get on a plane. I use my scooter, I get it down the jetway, they take it away with the strollers, which look much more comfortable to me, and then I get on the plane. So we're always available to help you raise funds, raise awareness, and to tell your people that we are still here and we want to eradicate polio so that nobody goes through our lives the way we have gone through it. I thank you all. This was the most enlightening few minutes I have had in a long time. So thank you all so much.
Anna, thank you so much for being with us today. Last minute, but we do appreciate you being with us today. And you'll hear from Anna again. And like she said, she's been to several people that are on this call's conferences. I know she came to our district conference, and I think James Gowdy had her one year.
You did?
Yeah, one year. Had her as a guest speaker, and she's got a wonderful story. I've never talked to anyone as interesting, I don't believe, as Anna Pinckney. You have to hear her background story. I'm not going to tell it because this is the teaser. You have to tune in again and hear this. There will be coming soon a podcast about the first series of the podcast. What's Your Impact? Will be about polio. And it will.
Let me just interject one thing. If you have Amazon Prime Video, there is a documentary about me called Breakfast at Ina's. And it's about the closing of my restaurant, but there's a lot in there about my childhood polio and what I did to figure out my life.
That's right, but that won't.
Breakfast at Ina's.
That won't. That's a great one, and she also has a cookbook. She's an author, and she also has a cookbook that came out, but also tells stories about those different recipes.
Yeah, the movie is good.
Yeah, the movie is good. It won't take the place of having her in person, though.
That is so true.
Got to take her in person. Any questions for Anna or John Nanny? John Nanny's on this call.
My guy, John.
Yeah, he's a polio survivor.
He's my hero. He has given over 400 donations, blood donations, platelets. He's my guy. He's the one that encouraged me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome.
Any questions for Anna?
You can always reach me at the Breakfast Queen at Gmail.
Breakfast Queen at Gmail. Awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Any other fundraising ideas that you want to share with us, or questions that you might have? I see Kim Walden is on here. She's the great graphic artist extraordinaire. If you need a graphic for your polio society page, or you need a graphic for your polio fundraiser, let's not overwhelm her too much. But I know she's willing and able, and she's making us a lot of those graphics now as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
I see Lori Menzel is on this call. Lori, good to have you. She's the Major Gift Officer from RI TRF. We've got Katie Lesner from RI that's
Yeah.
I didn't say that right. But she's the Annual Gift Officer from RI. So we've got a lot of heavy hitters here, and of course Bernie Rydell, that's the new Rotary Regional Foundation Coordinator, RRFC. Governors,
Right.
thank you so much for being here. I see a lot of governors on here, a lot of polio chairs, a lot of incoming governors. I see some DGEs here, and I mean, it's awesome. And your support and your encouragement and your dedication to this disease that is a miracle to have it this close to being eradicated. There are some extra cases that have been recently in the past week, but we're still further along than we've ever been. So let's keep working, because it is, with your help, with all Rotarians' help, it is possible. Anything is possible. And eradicating polio is certainly possible in our lifetime. It's your legacy, folks. It's your history. And it's going to be epic.
Epic. Great. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Colleen. Great meeting. Great meeting.
And if
Colleen,
you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here for you, and we're looking forward to coming to your districts. We're looking forward to, especially Pittsburgh. We're
that's
looking
right. Yeah, let us know what we can do for you.
And for
Okay.
those who've already given,
We're 2 minutes early. Ha ha.
Ah,
I did it. We did it, Bernie. We did it 2 minutes early.
I was just asking Ina if we could get any of her books for a fundraiser.
no, I'm afraid they're out of print. You might be able to find some on Barnes and Noble. The ones on Amazon are used and people have returned them and they already have inscriptions in them. But Barnes and Noble, I think, has some. We sold, I think, 11,000 books.
Wow.
And it was a while ago. I closed the restaurant 10 years ago. And
Okay,
so we had the books for the few years after.
thank you.
But the movie is worth seeing.
The
I
movie
will.
is worth. That would be a great. That would be a great fundraiser.
Yes.
I downloaded it onto my computer and just have a watch party and have only admit those people that are have paid, that have become Polio Plus Society members, or
Right. And then I would be happy to speak and I'd introduce the movie on Zoom and then we could ask questions afterward. That's really, it's lovely.
there you
We've
go.
done that before.
There you go. That's a great fundraiser right there.
I like the idea of Beth Marshall in 7280. They did a polka for polio last year.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing a pool party in August, so I think it should be paints and pools, and maybe we'll do the movie too.
All right. There you go.
Excellent. Thank you, Anne. Thank you. All right, John Nanny, I love you and miss you. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you all. This was a really great turnout too. You ought to be all proud of yourself.
Thank you so much, Anna, for joining us at the last minute, and thank you, RI staff that have joined us, and everyone. We really do appreciate it. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you will be in touch for sure. And like Colleen said, if you have any questions, any concerns, anything we can do for you, you let us know.
Will do.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, I love that. Pine
Colleen.
School and Pinckney. Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Boy,
I'm going out of here. I'm taking everybody. Let's go out. Bye.
yeah, boy, Nancy, that's a really big turnout for an afternoon, I got to tell you.
It is. There's Randy Perkins. Randy Perkins is one of my polio advocates. He's a past governor from 7690.
Got it.
Good start. This was a really good start. I really appreciate it. This went really well.
I think
Yes, really.
too.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
I've never been in a meeting like this. It was exactly what everybody needs to know, and you chock full of information on how-tos. It was great.
Thank you very much. Colleen put the polio, we discussed it, but she did the PowerPoint. She makes it look pretty. Mine looked like blah. So she makes it look pretty.
What a surprise. Something else Colleen is good at. What a surprise.
I'm telling you, she's good at everything. Everything she touches.
I know.
I can't, except for her sound. Except for her sound on her computer, sometimes it's not good.
Yeah, her sound is not so good.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either.
You notice I
least
got
we
rid of
got-
the flicking. I got rid
Yeah, I
of the
was just
flicking.
gonna say,
You
we
did.
had
How did
full
you do
Bernie
that?
this time.
Well, I went to a laptop. I didn't use,
Oh.
I changed
We went to-
computers and so.
Okay,
yeah.
so when your call comes next month, I'll be happy, and Colleen and I'll be happy to join it
Okay.
and be your person.
Okay, great.
Be your.
I got to run. So thank you again.
Okay,
Nice
thanks.
to talk to
Ina.
you, Bernie.
Good
Take
to see you
care.
again, Ina.
I feel the same. Thank you.
I've got to
Bye-bye.
go to my Rotary Club meeting, so I'll see you later.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta go make some food. Bye-bye, I love you.
Randy, I'll be talking to you. Love you too, girl. Bye.